Hello everybody, welcome to Christopher Breymeyer and Lindsay Breymeyer's Game Room Tour. This is Chris. I'm going to go ahead and take you on a quick tour of our game room. Now this is a combined video, so this is going to feature board and video games. It's going in two separate groups, so there's points that you can tune out. First thing I'm going to show off is where these dice are sitting is our massive board game table. This was crafted by a good friend of mine. Handmade it. Wood along the side, dry erase board on the front, so you can take expo markers and whatnot, draw on here. It's a really good tool to keep track of stuff when you're playing board games, trying to tally up scores, Dungeons and Dragons. It's especially useful. We got these nice, it's kind of hard to see because I'm filming this at night, but nice padded chairs that we sit on. I'm going to come on over here, and I'm going to show off this section. My wife has been really into making these little perler bead guys. So we've got some in every window here. There's a little bed for the cat. This is one section. This is our more family-friendly board game section, where you've got, you know, your Monopoly. I do own Hero Quest. It's from my childhood, but it is not complete. So I would like to finish that at some point, just to say I own a complete copy. But yeah, a lot of family-friendly games. Order the Stick I own just because I'm a huge fan of the comic. There's a copy of Clank in Space down there, but I'll get to that in a minute because my friend decided to be an idiot, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, got my Nintendo chair there. Got some wall decor here. Gonna rotate this way, show off more wall decor. Several copies of Duck Hunt. I don't know why. Got an old CRT TV to play Duck Hunt on. And here's where I keep several old consoles. Just in stock, several Game Boys. Up here, I have an Atari, I can't even think, 7800, 7200, whichever one. Got a Virtual Boy there with a nice stack of Virtual Boy games. Coming over here to this window, more perler bead artwork. We've got Team Rocket representing. Some of the Super Mario Hot Wheel cars right here. We have more decoration up this way. And this is where I keep various controllers and whatnot. Then on to this shelf here. This is where we keep the bulk of the Nintendo related stuff. All of my old Nintendo games, and I'm not going to sit here and go through every single one, although I do have a few highlights of the collection that I would like to go over. First off would be Mega Man 1 through 6 right there. All of them fantastic games, and also Metroid right there, a great game, but much easier to acquire than the Mega Man series is. Right there, we've got DuckTales next to a repro of Earthbound Zero that I've got. And also right here, two of my favorite games of all time, Star Tropics and Star Tropics 2, Zoda's Revenge. Both of them. The only thing I am missing at this point is the map, or not map, but the letter, rather, that would come with the game. And you can see we've got various amiibo that, yes, I do take out of the boxes because I am that kind of person. Right below and next to the NES are the Super Nintendo games, which, again, I'm not going to go over everything. However, I do have to take a moment to point out that I do own Earthbound, and I also own a great selection of Mega Man games. I've got all of the Mega Man games available on the Super Nintendo, including Mega Man Soccer, which I don't know where that is at the moment. Huh. Well, it's here somewhere. But anyway, more of that. And then down here, we have the Nintendo 64 collection, which, again, I've put in labels on it. It's much easier to see this all in the daylight. Here you see some boxed Nintendo 64 stuff that I picked up. We got this at a garage sale. GameCube games down below there, including more amiibo. We have sort of GameCube sitting like this because we ran out of shelf space and we had to store things somewhere. Right here you see another section of perler bead arts. We've got backpacks, Darth Vader, posters, and also, just to point out, plushies on the tops of all of the shelves. Up here we have Nintendo Wii games, which are fantastic to own. Xenoblade Chronicles is a fantastic game. You should all play it. Punch-Out for the Wii is another great one. Nintendo Wii U, a very underrated console. I think it is fantastic. Super Mario Maker, a fantastic game. Behind the plushie Link here is our growing Nintendo Switch library. Fantastic console that you should own, and that you should also pick up Breath of the Wild for, because that game is amazing. Game Boy games, which I don't have a good way of displaying at the moment. Speaking of, over here, Game Boy Advance games, guarded by Vader and Yoda working together once again. Nintendo DS here. Here we've got the 3DS collection. My wife and I both play video games, which is why when you look at like our 3DS and our DS games, there's multiple of the Pokemon titles. Because, you know, you have to have those multiples, otherwise you're just going to fight. So, again, various figurines and whatnot. There's Final Fantasy VII, my favorite of the Final Fantasy on PlayStation at the very least. If not my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. Not sure. You know, it's very funny because I just noticed that the same... So this is the second take I've made on this video, and I stopped the first time because it wasn't a great video. But the same pledged covered sock is in the video both times. That's great. So anyway, down here we have the Nintendo Powers. This is all of my Nintendo Powers, my Nintendo Player's Guides. We also have Dungeons & Dragons books down here. Coming over here, we keep a lot of wall decor. Oh, and I don't know if I showed off these here. But we just try to keep wall decor everywhere. Here is the Catan board for 7 Wonders, because I just think that that's cute. We don't actually play with it because it caused problems with our group. Over here, this whole area here, I'm rounding around, is where we keep the bulk of the board game collection. And I'm going to start here. Arcadia Quest is my personal favorite board game of all time. It replaces Hero Quest for me, even though I will keep my original probably forever. Clank is a fantastic game. If you like deck builders at all, I recommend Clank. We have both Clank and Clank in Space. We have Clank in Space, 2 copies of it, because a friend of mine decided that we were going to have Mega Space Clank, or Ultra Space Clank, or whatever we called it. But we combined 2 entire sets together. The DC Deck Builder collection here. Over here we've got some more deck buildy type games. Down here is where we have the dice games. Sagrada is a fantastic one. I recommend to anybody. Dice Forge is another absolutely great game. Over here, we've got card and drafting type games. Settlers of Catan down there is a dice game. But drafting and card style games. Over here, we continue with that. More games over here. Shout out to, by the way, to King Domino over here. Absolutely recommend King Domino. I know you've probably seen it by this point, but up here we've got some more wall decor. We've got a boxed NES box zapper. This semi right here is really interesting. If you could hold on to the phone here and hold it on this semi, because it actually unfolds, the Monopoly semi does, to reveal a full Monopoly board and full set of all the pieces you need to play a game of Monopoly. I know Monopoly is not the pinnacle of modern board game design by any stretch of the imagination, but still, this is a very cool piece that I love having in the collection, and I wouldn't get rid of this, you know, for anything. So back to this. We've got our board game challenge poster right here. We just started a 12x7. This here is Borash. I'd like to take a minute to go on this. So a friend of mine decided he wanted to make his own board game. He made the game. He tried to sell it at Gen Con. It didn't go over as well as we would have liked. However, this is a handmade Borash board that he has had crafted for me. The second one ever made in the world. So I'm very proud to own that and to be able to display it in my game room.
Same friend who made the table.
The same friend, yes, that actually made the table. Right here, some more posters, boxed in 64, and then you get down here to some co-op games. Zombie 15 is a very underrated title. I suggest you try it because you can usually get it. I got it for half off. Racing style games. We've got 2-player only games. We need to get more of those. You know, games like Ethnos, The Ticket to Ride. These are more set collection type games here. Then we have worker placement, area control, and drafting style, or not drafting, but auction style games. Over here, we have family. We call it family fun, just kind of sillier, goofier games that the whole family can enjoy. Up here is our selection of party games that we own. So if you like party games, this is the section for you. I highly recommend Telestrations as a party game. Also, Wits and Wagers is one of my favorite party games.
We also have Cards Against Humanity. It's on another shelf.
Cards Against Humanity is stored elsewhere. In this box here, these are smaller games. These didn't really look well on the shelf, so we've got those tucked in there. So anyway, that, in a nutshell, is our game room. And that's our cat. I hope you like our game room tour. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to expanding it even further in the future. Coming up with all kinds of neat little ways to improve this. Anyway, this is Christopher, a.k.a. Breyfunk, saying have a great rest of your day.